Hey, this is Jim with Retired to Resell, and today I wanted to talk to you about selling ties on eBay and Poshmark, kind of like this one right here. I never thought there'd be a whole lot of money in selling ties. You pass them by in the thrift store all the time. They just, look like cheap ties. And so I always kind of disregarded them until I really started to look into them and kind of do some research. If you find the right tie and the right style, you can really make some pretty good money. So I thought we'd take a little bit of time and go over some of the styles that I've found and sold over the last 6 months. I've sold 50 ties in the last 6 months. For total sales were a little bit over $1,000, and after all fees and shipping, the profit was right about $600. They're extremely easy to ship, they're lightweight, and they're really easy to store too. They take up no space. So if you want to learn a little bit more about reselling ties on eBay or Poshmark, stick around and we'll go over my top 10 sales over the last 6 months. All right, so let's get right into it here. So we're going to go over the top 10 sales of men's neckties for the last 6 months. And number 10 here was this vintage Polo Ralph Lauren tie. And you can see it's got a really cool diagonal stripe pattern on it and the little Polo logo down there at the bottom. And this is actually called a rep tie. Now, I didn't know it was called a rep tie until after I sold this and did a little bit more research. I maybe could have got a little bit more money for it, but a rep tie has this really nice, you can see the texture pattern in there, and more times than not, they're that diagonal pattern. And if you put rep tie, it's REPP, rep tie, into the title there as a keyword, you're going to get a little bit more money and a lot more people looking at it, I believe. So I bought this tie for $1, sold it for almost $19 there. And after fees and shipping, my profit was $14.87. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to give you a quick update on a vintage Polo Ralph Lauren tie. We were just talking about that and rep ties, and 5 minutes after I got done shooting that video, I sold this tie here. This is another vintage Polo Ralph Lauren tie, but this one I did actually add the rep tie keyword in there. And I just want to show you in comparison, that last polo tie, it took 31 days to sell. This tie here, I listed it for $24.95 and it took 5 days to sell. I bought it for $1.99, sold for $25, and my profit was $15.82. So I just wanted to show you the difference. Using that rep tie keyword, I think it's really important, and it looks like it really helped sell this tie much quicker than that other one. That's it. Just wanted to give a quick update on another tie sale using that rep tie keyword. All right, I thought this might be a good time to show you how I ship out ties as well. So the first thing I do is I roll up the ties. You never really want to fold the ties. It could leave some really ugly creases in the silk, especially when you're selling some pretty high-end ties. So after I get them rolled up, I usually like to wrap it in a nice piece of tissue paper just to kind of protect it. If it's a really high-end tie, like some of those $100 ties, I'll probably put them in a little poly bag as well, just to protect them from any of the elements. After I get it wrapped up, I put a little thank you sticker on it. And then I drop them in a little 4x4x4 box. It just fits perfectly for ties. Go ahead and tape the box up, and then we're going to weigh it. I believe that's right at 4 ounces. So 4 ounces in a 4x4x4 box. Then we'll go ahead and enter that information into the eBay shipping and print out a label. Apply the label, and then we'll send this thing out later on today. That's all there is to shipping out a tie. All right, so the next one here is Peter Millar, this geometric weave pattern. This pattern really caught my eye in the store, and when I took a better look at it here, I saw the tag here for Peter Millar, and I knew that brand from selling clothing from shirts. That's a pretty good designer. The shirts sell really good, so I thought I'd pick this up. I only spent $2 on it. Again, I sold it on Poshmark for $25, and I made a profit of a little bit over $18. So keep an eye out there for Peter Millar. So the next one here is Brooks Brothers, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of Brooks Brothers shirts, Brooks Brothers ties. There's a lot out there. I've sold quite a few Brooks Brothers ties, but most of them sell for right around $9, $10. But I checked this one out, and again, it had a real similar pattern to that Peter Millar. Um, cool geometric pattern here. It was real bright purple. Um, and let me look at the back here. I believe it said that golden fleece. Yeah, there we go. Golden fleece. So anyway, this was a really cool tie. It sold for $30 on Poshmark. I only bought it for $2, and my total profit was $19.31. So again, take a look at Brooks Brothers. There's Brooks Brothers Makers. There's Brooks Brothers 346. So you just kind of have to look up the comps on eBay and see what's selling for a little bit higher prices than the regular $9 to $10. And this one I was real happy with. All right. Next one here is Robert Talbot Carmel, and this again had a pretty cool geometric pattern. So you're kind of seeing a pattern here on what some of the better ties are selling for. You really want a really cool geometric pattern or a stripe pattern. Some bright colors that really stand out and grab your attention. So this one sold for $36. Here's the tag. I bought this one for $2, and my total profit was $24.79. So the next one here is from Ermenegildo I never get his name right. Ermenegildo Zegna. Let's just call him Zegna. How about that? So this is a Zegna silk tie and a really cool blue, kind of gray diagonal stripes here. I got a close up of it. And again, you can see that kind of textured pattern to it. It was just really nice. And again, I've known that name just from selling other shirts, and just knew the brand was a pretty high-end designer brand. And here's the tag right here. So I bought this one for $1 at a thrift store. It's saying I sold it for $44.95, but I did take an offer for $35. And after fees and shipping, my profit was $25.21. All right. Next one here is another Zegna tie, and this had a really cool geometric pattern, and it was pink. A lot of times pink items, pink clothing, pink shirts, pink ties, they sell for pretty decent money and pretty quickly. So this one, you can see the tag again, and this one actually had a gold bar on it right here. And so I took a better look at it, and again, it's got his name right down there. And this was just a really nice tie. Again, I bought this one. Let's see, I bought this one for $2. So this one sold for $45. And after fees and shipping, my total profit was $26.82. All right, and the next one here, Gianni Versace. So I've seen a lot of videos. I did a lot of research, and I kept seeing people talking about all these really, high-end luxury name brand like Versace ties. And I was like, you're never going to find these at Goodwill, thrift stores like that. But sure enough, I was in a Goodwill, and it was kind of in the back of the pile there. They're all kind of lined up on the racks there. And I was just flipping through it, and, I didn't know this was a Versace tie right when I saw it. But I saw the blue and the gold and the really cool pattern there. And I was like, that's got to be something. So I kind of flipped it around, took a look at it. And sure enough, on the back, Gianni Versace. I was like, I cannot believe it. I didn't think I would ever find a Versace tie in a thrift store. This one actually I paid up for. It was $5 to buy a Versace tie in Goodwill. But it sold for $53, and after all the fees and shipping, I made a profit of $37.41. All right, the next one here, I believe this is number 3. We have Charvet Place Vendom. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but there's the tag. Charvet Place Vendom. Again, this one, it didn't have a real catchy, flashy, pattern, diagonal pattern. It was solid. But again, I think I bought this one when I was still learning ties. So I was looking up just about everything I could to kind of get an idea of what's selling, what's not, what's selling for really good prices. And when I looked up Charvet here, I was really surprised that some of these ties were going for pretty good money. So I listed this one, and it sold for $65. I bought this one for $2, and after fees, I made a profit of $39. So it goes to show you, don't pass up on some of these ties that don't have a really cool design, even if they're solid like this. If it's a really good brand and people are looking for it, you're going to make some money on these things. Look at the comps in the stores. Don't be afraid to look them up in the store. Check them out. See what's listed, what's sold, and what the prices are. You might be surprised on what you find. All right, number 2, Hermes. Again, I can't ever pronounce this right. Hermes. I think it's Hermes. It's a French tie, but it had a really cool nautical theme here. It has these little prints of, lighthouses, fish, anchors, sailboats. So I did a little research on it, and nautical themed ties apparently sell pretty good. I listed this for $94.95, but I took a best offer of $79.50, which made a total profit of $55.58. And here is the tag on the back. So you'll see made in France, Hermes, Paris. All right, and my number 1 sale for neckties in the last 6 months was this vintage Gucci tie. It had a really cool stripe pattern, had a gold chain diagonal stripe thing going on. And here's the tag, Gucci, made in Italy. Again, same thing. I never thought I would find a Gucci tie in a thrift store or in a Goodwill. So really, again, just keep looking, dig through those ties. There's a lot of really bad ones, a lot of ugly ones. But you're going to find a few really cool ties, if you spend the time and go through it. So I bought this one for $2 at a Goodwill. I sold it for $80, and my total profit was $62. All right, so that's my top 10 sales for neckties in the last 6 months. I hope you learned a little bit about which ties to look for, which brands to look for, the styles to look for. I know I went through it really quick, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea that there is some money to be made in ties. Don't just pass them up in the thrift store. Take a look at them, do some research, look at the comps. You might be surprised on what you find there. Anyway, good luck out there, and I'll be talking to you later. Thanks.